Right now, a community grows stronger one day at a time on the 1-year anniversary of the devastating explosion in Sun Prairie. Our team coverage starts now.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at 10.
Thanks for joining us at 10. 1 year ago tonight, the small community of Sun Prairie was rocked by a natural gas explosion, changing the city forever. 365
days separate the two videos. This is what Sun Prairie downtown looked like then compared to now. The blast killed Captain Corey Barr, a Sun Prairie Fire Department volunteer. He left behind a wife and 2 young children. 2 other firefighters were also injured. 5 buildings were destroyed. Several others were damaged. And here is a look back at how it all unfolded. July 10th, 2018. Construction is underway on a fiber optic cable in downtown Sun Prairie. It was about 6:30 in the evening when a contractor hit something. He smelled and heard gas and called 911.
At 6:21 p.m., we responded to a report of a gas leak.
Moments later, fire crews responded to the area of Main and Bristol Streets. As natural gas started to vent from the ground in various locations around that construction scene, buildings and residences in the area were evacuated. But at 7:04,
while our firefighters were working on the gas leak and our officers were there to help with traffic control, a building exploded. 2 firefighters were injured and transported to the hospital.
Ran outside and I saw a mushroom cloud and don't know what it was, but something exploded. And then that's when we found out part of downtown's on fire.
Standing along the east side of the Barr House on North Bristol were 34-year-old fire captain Corey Barr and 38-year-old firefighter Ryan Welch. Captain Barr's injuries would prove to be fatal. Welch would recover. Captain Barr's saloon, the Barr House at 100 West Main, and the professional building along the north side of West Main Street were immediately leveled by the blast.
We've evacuated in a 5-block area.
The burning gas eventually burned down nearby Glass Nickel Pizza, along with a water tower chop house and a residential building on the south side of West Main Street.
High school and Patrick Marsh Middle School is where people were evacuated, and as I mentioned before, we have the Red Cross and we have the Salvation Army that have come out.
Numerous residents were displaced, and it would be months before Main Street would be back open. An investigation was underway as to what went wrong. All day today, News 3 Now has been bringing you special coverage, how the Sun Prairie community has grown, changed, adapted, and moved forward in the last year. Tonight, the community took a moment to look back. Amy Reed joins us from Sun Prairie with what played out there. Amy?
All day, people remembered what happened here 1 year ago today, and it affected everyone, the Barr family, the fire department, other first responders, but really the aftermath is felt throughout the entire community, and that's what the city remembered today. Everyone in Sun Prairie has a story about July 10th, 2018. The Historical Museum still hasn't opened since the explosion last year.
It's a very personal event. The July 10 explosion was a very personal event.
They're gathering those personal experiences, firsthand accounts from people like Steve Stalker, who had just finished a committee meeting when it happened.
A loud boom was heard, and the upstairs second floor of our council chambers rocked and the beams swayed.
And now, a year later, is somewhat hard to believe for much of the community. That's why they come together for a ceremony to look back, starting at the firehouse and ending where it began.
I come here with a heavy heart, and I bet others of you feel the same way. The pain of the losses from last year are still sharp in our memories.
The Sun Prairie Fire Department mourned Captain Corey Barr, not just for the hole he left in the department, but the city and the community.
He loved Sun Prairie. He was born and raised here. And we lost that amazing man. And for this, we were angry. We were hurt. And we were upset. And we fought with those emotions for a long time.
Abby Barr felt that too, and when she spoke, she thanked the whole community for standing behind her and thanked her husband for what he did and continues to do for her and the girls.
And because of you, I have learned what it means to be selfless, brave, strong, courageous, and how to love unconditionally. And these are all things I will be instilling in our 2 beautiful girls.
This is truly a day that will be remembered for a long time here in Sun Prairie. The Historical Museum is putting together an exhibit that will show the day, and they're still looking for contributions, especially those firsthand accounts that you saw earlier in that story. If you missed them today, they'll have their soft grand opening since the explosion on Sunday, and you can give them there. Back to you.
Amy Reed reporting live tonight in Sun Prairie. Amy, thank you.
Captain Barr's presence has never left Sun Prairie, but there soon will be a physical reminder of him in the city he loved. There will be a statue put up in his honor outside of the fire department. It's being put together at Brodeen Studios. That's in Kimball, Minnesota, about 70 miles outside Minneapolis. The design still a work in progress, but the end result will be a firefighter holding Captain Barr's helmet.
A disaster relief fund was created immediately after the explosion. Hundreds of thousands of dollars were raised, but some are still struggling. Dan and Elizabeth Donahue were only in Sun Prairie for 8 months before the explosion. Their chocolate caper shop wasn't even open yet in the old City Hall building facing the bar house. Now, from the outside, even a year later, the windows are still boarded up. Pieces of glass sit outside with no signs they're anywhere close to moving back in.
We get daily phone calls, Facebook messages. People are driving out to the Oregon store from Sun Prairie, and it's a constant, when will you be back? When will you be back? And we just still don't have a firm date to give them, so that's hard. That's really hard.
The chocolate caper was one of a number of businesses chosen to receive money from the Disaster Relief Fund. The Sunshine Place also helped 105 people, including 35 families who were displaced, totaling more than $238,000. Businesses in downtown Sun Prairie are reflecting on this time last year. Many of them in the blast zone were damaged or destroyed.
And as Jamie Perez shows us, it's been a long road to recovery, but there is still work to be done.
Today is a really bittersweet day for a lot of businesses here in downtown Sun Prairie. This part was essentially in ruins this time last year, but a lot of progress you see has been made. Everything is essentially back in order. But one business owner we talked to, actually, the owner of Sal's here in Sun Prairie, says today is much more than just about the progress that they've made. It's also about remembering the real loss that we had that day.
And then I looked to the left, and the building exploded.
Patrick DePula could not believe his eyes on this day 1 year ago.
You know, till this day, I can't remember what it sounded like, but I remember how it felt.
His popular business in Sun Prairie lost power for weeks and suffered nearly $100,000 in damages.
We had some broken windows, and but most of the damage that occurred to our business came from being closed for 4 weeks.
Like many businesses close to that explosion, they suffered. But through the loss came a shining light.
Immediately, I remember the next morning when we're closed, wondering what's going on. Suddenly, gift cards started popping up, like electronic gift cards started popping up in my sales report. And I keep getting these alerts like, another gift card, another gift card.
Whoever did this raised several $1,000s for Sal's to get back on its feet. But as much progress as Patrick DePula's business has made, he says today is about much more than just that.
It's really hard to think about the damages that we had in relation to the damages that a family had with the loss of, you know, a firefighter, a husband, a father.
The loss a community suffered, and the aftermath all these days later.
When I hear loud noises now or whatever, I'm definitely different now than I was before.
There's no doubt there was incredible loss that day, but this community didn't know how strong it could be until it had to be.
We're still here, we're functioning, and I'm happy to be part of this Sun Prairie community.
A lot of businesses say that since last year, they've seen a lot more traffic in the downtown area from community members supporting them, and they can only ask that you continue to do so. Reporting in downtown Sun Prairie, I'm Jamie Perez, News 3 Now.
Patrick tells us there's still some empty spaces on Main Street in downtown. A reminder, they still have work to do, but he said he is happy he's in a community where they are going to rebuild together.
The two companies involved have both been cited by OSHA for what they call serious violations. Bear Communications and subcontractor VC Tech have been fined nearly $13,000 each for not calling Diggers Hotline. Sun Prairie Police determined there was no crime committed, but instead blamed a miscommunication between the two companies. In February, the Public Service Commission also agreed to open an investigation into the incident. That is still ongoing and could result in fines upwards of $500,000.
As always, to get a more in-depth look at today's anniversary coverage, check out the website. It includes an exclusive full one-on-one interview with Abby Barr, an interview with Sun Prairie first responders where the investigation sits today as well, and how the community continues to rebuild, along with much more. You can find it all at our website, channel3000.com. Still ahead tonight, a local family keeping their young son's legacy alive nearly a year after his tragic death.
Plus, a lifelong fan gets to meet one of her music idols tonight. That story when we come back.
A worker at an Oak Creek Amazon construction site has died. Police say the victim was operating a piece of equipment on an upper floor, drove that vehicle out of an open window, falling about 30 to 40 feet. Police say the four-wheeler was being used to move other equipment. The victim's name has not yet been released. An autopsy is scheduled for tomorrow. OSHA has opened an investigation. Nearly a year after losing their son, a Madison family is keeping his legacy alive.
Megan May describes her son as kind, sweet, and a light in everyone's life, who wanted to be a police officer so he could help others. The May family started the group Dominic's Ripple to raise money for police causes. Not only did Dominic want to be in law enforcement, but he loved dogs. So their first goal is to raise $50,000 for a canine unit for the Madison Police Department.
We want people to remember Dominic. We don't want his life to end at the age of 5. We want his story to continue. And so through Dominic's Ripple, his story can continue.
This Sunday from 1 to 5, Dominic's Ripple is holding its kickoff event at the Kiva Sports Center in Middleton. We have more information on our website, channel3000.com.
Automotive giant Lee Iacocca laid to rest today outside Detroit. Iacocca was an auto executive, a master pitchman who put the Mustang in Ford's lineup back in the 60s and became a corporate folk hero when he resurrected Chrysler some 20 years later. In recent years, Mr. Iacocca had been battling Parkinson's disease. He died last week at the age of 94. It is the end of an automotive icon, the Volkswagen company, ending production of the newest version of its famed Beetle today. It rolled off the assembly line in Mexico with a celebration in the factory. The first version was designed in Germany back in the 1930s.
Several hamburger and hot dog bun brands have been recalled due to a plastic choking hazard. Flowers Foods bakery items are sold at top retailers including Walmart, Sam's Club, Aldi, and others. The company said small pieces of hard plastic may be in some of the products and pose a choking risk. Brand names include Clover Valley, Great Value, Laura Lynn, Nature's Own, Piggly Wiggly, Publix, Food Depot, Sunbeam, and Wonder. Alice Cooper is playing the Sylvie tonight, and he's taking time for a special meet and greet with one of his biggest fans. Diane Sizz from Reeseville has been a fan of his for years, but now she's getting care from Heartland Hospice. When they told Alice Cooper's people her dream was to meet him before she died, they made it happen. Diane explained what the two did together, including getting a few souvenirs.
And he gave me his whip, gave me a glove with his name on it, and we just talked. We did a lot of talking. So it was nice. It was real nice.
Cooper usually only does meet and greets after his shows, but he made an exception for Diane.
Here we go. It's that time of the year again. The first tropical system to slam the U.S. this year is expected to make landfall as a hurricane. But days before landfall, it's already walloping New Orleans with widespread flooding. A waterspout was spotted just off the coast. The National Hurricane Center predicts Tropical Storm Barry will form in the Gulf of Mexico by tomorrow and then strengthen to a hurricane by Saturday, when it's expected to make landfall there in Louisiana. Gary, always keeping an eye on these things, and it's getting to be that time of the year.
And it may affect our weather indirectly as we head into the middle of next week, depending on how much moisture gets pulled northward. It could break our heat wave temporarily, or it could miss us, and then that would allow the heat to build even further. Let's start out by taking a look at the situation right now. Still a tropical depression. It's actually weakened quite a bit overnight, but now that the center of circulation is over the Gulf of Mexico, this should start to strengthen over the next 24 hours. Should become Tropical Storm Barry tomorrow, may become a hurricane as the forecast from the National Hurricane Center basically brings it onshore in Louisiana and then brings it northward over the next couple of days. Now, the issue here is how far northward that moisture is going to get. Is it going to make it all the way to Wisconsin and the central portion of the Midwest? We'll just have to wait and see. If it stays to our south, again, we'll have to increase the temperatures probably in the latter part of our extended forecast. If it makes it this far north, we could at least see a temporary break from the heat, but it also could bring the possibility for some heavy rainfall. So we'll keep an eye on that. But what is no doubt is that we are going to see our temperatures increase. The upper level winds right now from the northwest, it's bringing a little area of slightly cooler weather. The heat and humidity has built out to the west of us, but over the next couple of days, notice that cooler area heads off to the northeast, and then it's the heat and humidity that we're kind of right on the fringes of. But look at where the jet stream is, up near the U.S.-Canadian border. That keeps all the cool air locked up to the north. And more importantly, that's where the storm track is going to be. So the best chances of precipitation, anything that could break the heat, going to stay up to the north until perhaps toward the end of next week. We'll have to wait and see whether or not that happens. But right now, it looks like the heat could continue into the following weekend. Doppler track tonight, there have been a few sprinkles of rain that have just died out around Prairie du Chien. Otherwise, things pretty quiet across the Midwest. The time-lapse from the WISC sky cam, take a look at this. We started out with some fog this morning, cleared out the skies. A few clouds came through with the cold front, and then after that, just generally clear skies toward the evening, although it's possible that we could see a few more clouds overnight. Live view from the Edgewater sky cam in downtown Madison, back online. Let's check out the almanac for today. High 87, low temperature 74, but right now we're at that low temperature for the day of 74, so we may drop below that a little bit. Skies are partly cloudy, the air is calm, and dew point temperatures are around 60, which is good news. Temperatures right now upper 60s to the middle 70s across the state. Again, dew point temperatures lower to middle 60s, even a few places in the upper 50s. That makes the air feel much more comfortable. Upper level winds right now out of the northwest, but here's that heat building again as the jet streams start to bulging to the north. And notice how the skies have cleared out. When the atmosphere expands, a lot of times that brings the warm air aloft, and it suppresses thunderstorm development that could even temporarily break the heat. So the heat is not far away. Temperatures this afternoon hit 94 in Chicago, also 94 in Milwaukee, 96 Springfield, 97 in St. Louis. Right now, temperatures 60s and 70s for the most part. The dew point temperatures have dropped off a bit, but eventually as the heat comes back, the humidity will follow shortly behind. So our forecast overnight calls for partly cloudy skies, low temperature dropping to 65 degrees, so a cooler and less humid night. For tomorrow, look for sunny skies, our high temperature topping out at 80 degrees. Again, with less humidity, it'll feel very comfortable. Futurecast right now showing temperatures dropping into the mid-60s overnight, skies clearing out nicely for tomorrow. Mostly sunny skies, the northerly winds bringing in the dry air, high temperature of 80. Tomorrow night, clear skies, light winds, temperatures in the upper 50s, and then southwesterly winds on Friday already bringing temperatures up into the mid-80s. Still humidity not too bad on Friday, but again, that changes. We have alert days in the forecast beginning on Sunday and lasting through Friday of next week for the possibility for high temperatures upper 80s to low 90s. The low temperatures in the lower 70s, meaning you don't even get any relief at night. And again, thunderstorm chances maybe Wednesday and Thursday, depending on what happens with the tropical depression that may become Barry. If that misses us, we might not see rain there, and those temperatures might have to be a few degrees warmer, too.
Wow. All right. Well, you'll keep an eye on it, I'm sure. Thank you.
Sure.
Thanks, Gary. Well, what's better on a hot day than a little hockey practice? I'll tell you why the Badgers are on the ice. That's next in sports.
It was a pretty warm day around here again. Seemed like the perfect time to send our Kevin Lewis to cover Badger hockey practice. Yeah, hockey practice. The Badgers are having 6 practices in Madison in preparation for a trip to Canada at the end of August to play a couple of exhibition games against the University of British Columbia August 30th and September 1st. Seems a little strange to be having hockey practice in July, though.
Hockey, it doesn't matter if it's in July or September or June or hockey's hockey, and the guys, getting on the ice and be able to practice and having coaches out there for them. Obviously, it's the start of the new season. There's some great excitement with a whole new class coming into the mix.
The United States women's national team won the World Cup in France Sunday, but the celebration back home continues today in New York. A few 100,000 people welcomed the team in a parade in downtown Manhattan. Good old-fashioned ticker tape parade down the Canyon of Heroes that has honored some of the biggest names in sports history and history in general. Former Badger Rose Lavelle says the entire World Cup journey has been remarkable.
It's like so weird when something that you've wanted to do for so long finally comes to fruition, but I think I'm just so proud to be a part of this team, and this isn't about me. It's about this team and about everyone who supported us along the way and has helped us get here, and I feel so lucky.
The Madison Mallards lost the completion of their suspended game against Rockford tonight, but made up for it with a win in the regularly scheduled game of the Rivets. Fond du Lac at Warner Park tomorrow night. Brewers have a couple more days before they get back to work after the All-Star break. They'll open a homestand against the San Francisco Giants at Miller Park Friday night. Nice break, but soon it'll be time to get back into it.
Once the break's over, we got to focus more on baseball again, and that's what's good. That's what's fun for me. Getting back into the grind, and obviously this division's wide open right now, so we got to go out there and play good ball and just see where we're at the end of this thing.
We're pleased to announce we're getting ready for our 12th season of the Prep Mania High School Football Game of the Week. Each Friday night during the season, we'll bring you live games on TVW and live streaming on channel3000.com. This season starts Friday, August 23rd. We got a dandy to kick things off. Monona Grove and Wanakee are two of the most successful football programs in the state. They'll square off in a non-conference game to start out 2019's Game of the Week schedule. Again, we'll have games every Friday night throughout the regular season. It starts Friday, August 23rd with Monona Grove at Wanakee on the Prep Mania Game of the Week. And late last night at the 40th Annual Slinger Nationals, Matt Kenseth and Ty Majeski had a great finish in the feature race. In the final turns, it's a drag race. There were sparks flying everywhere and everything. And in the end, the NASCAR Cup champion Kenseth in the number 8 car got to the inside, never gave it up. He won his 8th Slinger Nationals title. And afterwards, Kenseth and Majeski both said that was just good, hard racing. Kenseth 1 for 1 this year. We'll be right back.
Gary's here with the final check of your forecast.
Enjoy tomorrow. Friday, probably not too bad, but after that, it turns really warm and humid. Doppler track, couple sprinkles near Prairie du Chien dying out tonight. No problems overnight. 74 right now. Still 80 in Milwaukee, but notice those 60s to our north and west. Be very comfortable the next couple of nights. But then 85 for Friday. Still low humidity. Thunderstorm chance Friday night. That's as the humidity comes back. We have alert days in the forecast from Sunday through Friday with those high temperatures up around 90 or even above it. Nighttime lows in the 70s. Could see heat index values in the triple digits at times.
All right, Gary, thank you. Thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.